How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer for On SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today as we continue on talking about training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. Today, they got the off day, which is probably well needed considering the hot days in St. Joe. But I mean, these Kansas City Chiefs, they've been working hard. We see them talk to the media and they are dripping sweat. They are working as hard as they can. We already knew that head coach Andy Reid runs a tough training camp. And boy, it proves it from seeing how these guys are reacting the way that, and it doesn't help that the heat is beating down on them. Not only is that, but the competition is beginning to heat up. Not only between veterans, but also rookies, i.e. Josh Simmons and Ashton Gelati. I'm not sure if any of you saw that, but if you did, be sure to go check out the site. We just did an article on it. And, everything is all good, just out of the love of competition. And then, a little bit of the heat and the lack of water probably got to these two young gentlemen. But today, we're not going to be talking about the rookies. We're going to be talking about a veteran, the veteran, Travis Kelce, tight end. Wow. So going into this season, people didn't even know that Travis Kelce was going to come back. People didn't assume that he was going to come back after a down season last year, a lackluster performance in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And just, a lot of people were making comments about his weight kind of looking like he was on the way out rather than the way to come back into training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. But as we know, Travis Kelce is here. And let me just tell you, Travis Kelce, I'm not here to say that it's a resurgence, but so far, so good. And I know that it is only training camp, but for a guy at his age and still looking to prove something, as well as spitting out the consistently bad taste in his mouth left from the Super Bowl defeat by the Philadelphia Eagles, this guy looks hungry. Head coach Andy Reid, he said that he looks like he's a 20-year-old out there. He's moving well. While he might not be finishing first in conditioning, that how Andy Reid put it, he is still a valuable asset out there as a veteran. And not only that, we are kind of seeing Kelce as a player coach kind of role to the tight ends in his room. He's been working with tight end Noah Gray since Noah Gray has been in the organization. But there's a lot of open room for this tight end spot, in the depth chart, that it's important that these guys are picking the brain of a future Hall of Famer. And, Noah Gray was saying that, his presence on the field, Kelce's that is, even when he's not next to him, lined up next to him, he's always watching. He's always trying to help improve the team, which is really good. That's the kind of leadership that we were looking for. But when we are looking at him on the field and running routes, man, he looks good. I have made the prediction before, and several other analysts have done so as well. But I was saying that, it might not be a Travis Kelce of old type season, and that's okay. He's not going to be a guy who's going to drop 1,400 receiving yards and score 9, 10 touchdowns any longer. If his body let him, by all means, that would be really good for the way that the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to make their offense more explosive. But now, given where he's at in his age, he's on the last leg of his contract, which could be the final season for him. He's shed off the weight that the people were giving him troubles about. He has the self-drive to be a born leader, and he's receiving compliments on and off the field, not even just in the football terms. This guy is an actor now. Happy Gilmore too, ladies and gentlemen. What a performance. What I'm trying to say is you don't need to have the old Travis Kelce kind of take over this offense as he once did when Patrick Mahomes and him first started becoming that dynamic duo. They can still be a feared duo in the National Football League. However, just seeing where Travis Kelce is in his career, it's almost like Kelce needs to kind of, be the third down guy, the fourth down guy, the red zone guy. He has all this experience that he should be leaned on, not leaned on in certain aspects to still give him if this is his final year, a proper send-off and having extraordinary moments, both in whether it be in overtime or, just setting new records for himself. But he doesn't need to be the guy who's the main target any longer. And I know that Rashee Rice, he's dealing with stuff that could sideline him for multiple games this season. Xavier Worthy's on concussion protocol, but while that might not last so long, it is something to watch as he is a young player. Hollywood Brown is a guy who's looking to make a name for himself once again in a Chiefs uniform. After returning, they have options, the Kansas City Chiefs do. They've got options to lean on for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes, it might be tough for him since he has become so accustomed to throwing the ball to Travis Kelce since he became the starting quarterback in 2018. But, at the same time, this is a game driven by results. The way that we've seen the two last seasons for Kelce, the results have declined. He still gets a lot of targets. He still led the Chiefs in the receiving game throughout those two declining seasons. However, there could be a resurgence in the sense of him being a leader and him being important on the field, but not the go-to guy. I just don't see a world in 2025's regular season where Travis Kelce is getting the brunt of the work. But should the Kansas City Chiefs win the AFC West division title for the 10th year in a row and punch their ticket back to the playoffs, I can guarantee you Travis Kelce will make an impact in that regard. But that is way in the future right now. The way that we are seeing it right now in training camp, Travis Kelce, he looks good. He looks fast. He's a leader. He's many things that people thought that he wasn't anymore. And, he hasn't yet said that the 2025 regular season is his last season. Maybe if there is a resurgence, the Kansas City Chiefs and Kelce can come to a one final year contract that sends him off. Well, I mean, it's very dependent, in my opinion, on how the Chiefs finish overall. If they do punch their ticket to another Super Bowl, if they are raising the Lombardi Trophy, that's a way for several athletes would love to walk out with that kind of light on him or on them. But we'll have to see. Though so far so good. The resurgence is potentially there for Travis Kelce, but he's still got a long way to go throughout training camp and into the regular season. Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any free Kansas City Chiefs coverage while we cover training camp into the regular season. You can also follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI over on X. Several stories drop every half hour or an hour, multiple coverage, all for free, covering training camp. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to get your Kansas City Chiefs news. As always, though, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dominic Minchella. Thank you so much for stopping in. I'll see you tomorrow. And always, remember, be kind to one another.